Here are the top stories of the news. President Bola Tinubu assures Nigerians that new tax reforms will deliver greater prosperity. Federal government set to unveil 2026 annual flood outlook as Nigeria braces for new rainy season. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump says US-Iran talks could restart in Pakistan in 2 days. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. I am Femi Ojo. President Bola Tinubu has said colonial-era tax laws impoverished Nigerians through fragmentation, multiplicity and inconsistencies, assuring that the new reforms will deliver greater prosperity and inclusivity. President Tinubu spoke on Tuesday in Abuja at the inauguration of the 16-story Nigeria Revenue Service headquarters, stated that the new tax system was designed to be people-centered and investment-friendly, thereby advancing the nation's development goals. President Tinubu said the new tax laws, which became fully operational in January, were intended to liberate the economy from the constraints of archaic laws and make it more globally competitive. He also expressed the delight that the NRS headquarters was completed in 30 months after more than 2 decades since the foundation was laid.
I made a solemn pledge to reaffirm that these words were not rhetoric, they were a covenant with the Nigerian people.
Your administration undertook one of the most significant revenue reform in Nigeria history. And to put that in perspective, the first tax law made in this country was done in 1903. That is 122 years ago. You changed that. Over 60 fragmented tax laws were streamlined into a simplified and more coherent framework, strengthening compliance, improving predictability, and enabling efficiency in administration.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio has claimed that people are sponsoring insecurity in the country as the 2027 general elections inch closer. The lawmaker stated these are the commissioning of the Nigeria Revenue Service headquarters in Abuja. He said the increase in security being witnessed today is due to the upcoming election, noting that as soon as the election is over, reports of bomb blasts would not be heard again. He praised President Bola Tinubu for his administration's reforms, saying the Nigerian leader would not be distracted but will remain focused on governance despite efforts to the contrary. Akpabio also accused the opposition of failure to put their house in order, faulting calls for the resignation of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Joash Amopiton, over an alleged partisan social media post.
You are seeing insecurity today. It's even increasing because the election is coming. As soon as the election is over, watch out. The first 2 weeks, you will not hear any single bomb blast. Because people are sponsoring it to distract you. They don't know what else to do. They say this man is too good in many areas. If the governors are attracted to him because he's taking very good care of the states. He came in with less than 18 governors. Today he has almost 32 governors under his fold out of 36. So where do we belong? How do you win election when you don't have the structure? No political party today is stable in this country. Then they changed and said, okay, let us attack the people going to do the election. And they brought out a tweet where they said the chairman of INEC said victory is sure. But he didn't say victory is sure for APC. He did not say victory is sure for PDP. He just said victory is sure. And the man said that it's manipulated. Nobody wants to hear. But for me, whether manipulated or not, he said victory is sure. He was not chairman of INEC. He was just a man.
The federal government has described the recent airstrike in the Jili axis of Kubio local government area, Borno State, as a precision counter-terrorism operation under Operation Hadinkai carried out by the Nigerian Air Force. It insisted that the operation was not indiscriminate, stressing that the area had long been designated as a high-risk zone with the security advisories restricting civilian movement. This was contained in a statement signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation on Tuesday, which provided an official account of the airstrike that reportedly resulted in some civilian casualties. According to the statement, the operation was based on sustained intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, which identified the Jili axis, locally known as Akasu Dolai, meaning the terrorist market, as an insurgent control enclave used for logistics, levy collection, and attack coordination by Boko Haram and ISWAP elements. The federal government further said the assessment was reinforced on April 12, 2026, following the arrest of his 15-year-old ISWAP courier Tijani in Ngamdo, who allegedly admitted to moving funds and logistics between Jili and other locations, underscoring the exploitation of civilians, including minors. Meanwhile, the National Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, Rauf Argbeshola, has called on President Bola Tinubu to resign over worsening insecurity and economic hardship in the country. The former Osun State governor made the call while delivering a speech at the ADC National Convention in Abuja, where he also described President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda as a scam. The former Minister of Interior also condemned a series of violent attacks across the country that have led to significant loss of life, describing the situation as a failure of President Tinubu's administration. He accused the government of worsening insecurity and alleged a lack of empathy in his response to national tragedies. Argbeshola further criticized the state of education and the economy, claiming that the number of out-of-school children has risen from 18.3 million to nearly 20 million, while many Nigerians are being pushed into extreme poverty.
At no other time in our history as a country has the moral compass been so shamelessly been bent as it is today. People who deliberately split the People's Democratic Party are today being falsely robed as political strategists. Since when has criminality become a strategy? The ADC does not and will never owe its existence to any individual or group, including an electoral body masquerading as a neutral umpire with its leadership in the attire of a political partisanship. The ADC derives its existence from the aspirations and will of the Nigerian people, who are tired of the deceit and colossal mismanagement to which this country is being subjugated. We owe our existence to the Nigerian Constitution, which declares that freedom of association, including that to form or belong to any political party, is guaranteed and is a fundamental right. We are here because the ADC is on a rescue mission to prise the country from the strangulating grasp of the ruling party. The APC is a party which has foisted on the country an electoral law that states forgery and making false claims in electoral documents is no longer a punishable electoral offense. In other words, the ruling party is decriminalizing criminality.
Similarly, former Vice President and Chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, Atiku Abubakar, has alleged that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is being used to undermine democracy in Nigeria. Atiku made the allegation during his remarks at the party's national convention held at the Rainbow Event Center in Abuja. He singled out the chairman of the electoral body, Joash Amupiton, for criticism over alleged illegalities by the INEC boss. The former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party also berated the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government, saying that Nigeria's economy, security, education, and others are gone under his leadership. It has come under fire from the ADC in recent weeks, especially after INEC decided to suspend its recognition of the David Mark-led leadership of the ADC over a court ruling.
Bring about sincere change. Believe me, you cannot get away with corruption in the government of ADC. You cannot. You cannot get away compromising with criminals and terrorists to make life impossible in this country. No, that is not what we intend to do. Absolutely not. Therefore, it is a struggle for all Nigerians. But I will not end these remarks without indicting the chairman of INEC and INEC itself. Because it is clear, it is obvious, the evidence is there, INEC is being used to scuttle democracy in this country. Now let the federal government know that we fought the military to bring democracy in this country, and we are going to fight them to bring democracy in this country. Let the chairman know we are not going to let him get away with his illegalities. We will not. And I hope we will have your support and cooperation to make sure we return to true democracy, to true development in all aspects of human endeavor. I want to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to address you today, and of course, to congratulate the ADC for organizing this convention for the purposes of the constitutional provisions of the party. I wish you every success.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has fixed April 22 for a hearing the appeal filed by the David Mark-led executives of the African Democratic Congress ADC over the leadership tussle in the party. The five-member panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Mohammed Garba, chose the date after granting an accelerated hearing. Mark's appeal is against the March 12 judgment of the Appeal Court, which dismisses appeal against the September 4, 2025 ruling by Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja, refusing to grant some injunctive reliefs contained in an ex parte application filed by chieftain of the party, Nafiu Bala Kumbi. Justice Rilwan Aikawa of the Federal High Court sitting in Kaduna has granted the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, bail. The former governor is being charged for alleged financial misconduct, including deposits into his domiciliary account and how his earnings were handled by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. However, El-Rufai's bail application was stalled at the Kaduna State High Court as the presiding judge, Justice Darius Kobo, has reserved ruling on the bail application for April 21. Counsel to the defendant, Ubonga Akan, who addressed journalists after the proceedings at the State High Court, which lasted less than 30 minutes, said the matter was adjourned to April 21 because the trial judge, Darius Kobo, was bereaved and unable to prepare the ruling. The former governor is being arraigned before the State High Court on multiple charges bordering on alleged fraud and abuse of office levied against him by the ICPC. In other news, the federal government is set to unveil the 2026 annual flood outlook as Nigeria braces for the new rainy season. President Bola Tinubu is expected to officially launch the project at the banquet hall of the Aso Villa in Abuja. The event marks a critical moment in the nation's disaster management calendar as the government shifts from reactive emergency responses to a proactive, data-driven strategy. Coming on the heels of the technical pre-launch meeting convened by the National Emergency Management Agency on March 31, this year's outlook is expected to provide a comprehensive roadmap for navigating the upcoming rainy season, which meteorologists warn could bring a mix of above normal rainfall and prolonged dry spells across the Federation. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.